Is this the one? Where game? Here's the game. It's King's Cove. Now I've completely ruined my intro. You know, you try to do more, you end up losing everything. There is no hype, there is no intro, but we'll save it for game 2. So we did our best. We lost 50 points, even though obviously we were smoking him. But my own fault. Took a couple bad fights in the beginning, tried to end it early. By making it early, we prolonged it forever. Lost 1,000,000 points. Did we deserve that? I don't think so. Does it matter? Absolutely not. Because today is only about these gamers. King's Cove, bottom right side. We have links in the main already. It's very early. Wonder how that happened or why it's happening. We're looking at the main base of MaxPax, the man who took down Serral 3-1 last Friday in the Big Rain Belts. Took down Serral 3-2 a couple days ago in the Masters Coliseum. The Danish Protoss, who has won more tiny online cups than anybody on this planet in the last 2 years, perhaps outside of Clem, but probably even more than Clem. Can he win a big one too? Can he win one that truly matters? Today, we'll get our answer. Top left side, guys, of King's Cove. We are looking at the main base of the great Jonas Sotala. He is your defending champ of Masters Coliseum. He's gonna have to take down not one, but 2 Protoss nerds if he wants to get there today. We've got a Broodlord behind us, we've got a Carrier behind us. We've got 3 of the absolute best players in the world left in the Masters Coliseum. And we're going for it. Yeah, the stream definitely seems to be a bit choppy. I notice it too. Can't do anything about it. This is the link that they give us. I can try on the Twitch one if it's slightly better, but most of the time YouTube is better than Twitch. So, but I agree that it looks worse than before. We'll see what we can do. Tiny stasis trap goes down. Shall we take a tiny look at the Twitch stream then, guys? See if that goes better as the Oracle does find some damage. I don't know if it is better, but most of the time they're literally the same, but let's give it a shot. Go for the what? Moon? I was looking at YouTube, and I've used YouTube throughout this entire tournament. YouTube in general is better than Twitch. I don't know what you're trying to link. Links don't work, Moon. You're gonna have to give me a platform. But there's only 2 options for me. It's Twitch or YouTube. Every other platform is not good. No, don't worry about that funny color scope hack. Oracle's floating around 4 max. Now this could be an absolute marathon series. So whatever happens in game 1, King's Cove is not necessarily going to be the beginning of the end for anybody. I am sure that both players are willing to throw a curveball at one another, are willing to switch it up. We'll see a lot of Oracles, we'll see a lot of Blink Stalkers with +1. Serral is obviously going to lean into +1 melee throughout the series, but will not necessarily do it every game. Keep a close eye on it. Thinking back of that game 1 victory that Serral had yesterday against Reynor on Abyssal Reef, was very, very committed. I am sure that he's willing to do something like that once more, as the Link activity here is good. Finds himself a Stalker right before Blink is done. Overall, I don't hate this position for Serral at this point. Lost a couple of rounds so far throughout the Oracle harass and whatnot, but this is not the scariest Protoss army that we've ever seen. Link surrounding the Stalkers. That is a questionable Blink unless we have another stasis trap, and we do have another stasis trap, and it's a massive one. That's unfortunate, because that actually looked really good for Serral. That looked promising for Serral. That looked like it was going to be a great jump. And instead he gets unlucky. Literally everything is stuck, even the queens with a lot of energy. I still think that Jonas should be okay here. He's got +1 melee, the additional links free up right now. He saw those extra stasis trappies go down. I don't think we should chase forever. Chasing a little bit is okay. Grabbing a couple stalkers is okay, but we can't obviously go mega deep. It is a big day. A best of 7 and a best of 9. PvZ and PvZ, or PvZ and PvP. It's been an amazing month of Masters Coliseum. Honestly, playoffs have been very good. We had a bit of a slow start with a lot of one-sided series, but last few days I think have been very fun. And we've had a lot of highlights. Grand Finals is best of 9, yeah. It's one of the biggest online tournaments of the year. It could very well become the biggest tournament of the year, online-wise. Last year was the best of 9 as well. I believe back then it was 5-1 in favor of Serral over Hero. And that was a different era, different map pool, and more importantly a different patch. Serral does find a little opening here in the natural of Max, while also pressuring with Hydras and Lings at the bottom. MaxPax should be able to deal with this. Can Serral get a cancel on the 4th base? I want to say the answer is yes, and he absolutely can. He even gets out of there with a lot of Lings. This is good stuff, guys. Good stuff coming out of Serral. Stasis traps are mega, especially with the current style that a lot of the high-level Protoss players are enjoying. A 30 supply lead for Serral as we're 9 minutes into King's Cove. We have an infestation pit going down inside of the main. MaxPax does have Storm. He is investing in a fleet beacon. He's rebuilding that 4th base. If I was Max, I'd be very cautious here. I understand being confident in your army, being confident in your ability to land a couple of big storms, but Serral's got a lot. Now the storms are amazing, and that stasis trap is actually pretty damn useful too, because it creates a bit of a force field, a forward blink on a bunch of low HP stalkers. MaxPax so confident, even though we are completely out of storm. I think Max is overrating the strength of his army a tiny bit, but I guess if stasis traps are always there to save you, it's okay. The storms were excellent, but he did end up losing all the High Templars. Serral has fired up a hive. He's giving himself a little bit of extra vision with the Overlords. $32 Lings on the production tab and a 21 Banelings. A mothership on the way for Max. Just still single Stargate, so maybe he feels that King's Cove is not quite the map for early Tempest, or in general, I'm pretty sure that we'll see some Tempest down the line. If this game would go mega long, I'd consider it. First game, 11 minutes in, you can already see that it is most likely going to be a longer game, that it is going to be draining, and this is definitely something to keep in mind. Whoever makes it through the lower bracket finals has to play a best of 9 against the Hero. There's a second Stargate on the production tab now. Don't think that Serral can really attack into MaxPax that sees it coming. Well, Serral's gonna try anyway. And he's gonna have to avoid a lot of storms. He knows that so far the attack is very beautifully executed. Banelings will make it into the middle line. Honestly, it's impressive that Serral is finding as much as he did here. 17 workers is good. And he didn't lose everything either. Well done. Really nice engagement. Love the way that he was pulling back parts of his army. Didn't just go with everything at once. It's, may have looked easy, but it's actually very hard. War Prism, I think, is about to go down. That's nice. Serral finding a decent amount of little victories here. 12 minutes into game 1 of King's Cove. Don't know what that storm was, but Max a little bit trigger happy, perhaps a tiny bit nervous, dropping a couple of very early zoning storms. That one actually kind of connected with a lot of links. I hope that he's going to love storm with the way that he is storming. We're going to use cloaking on the mothership. Serral is going to eat a couple of massive storms on the Lings and Banks. I think at this one point only a few Hydras are going to be left. I'm not sure if that was really it. Serral is obviously quite rich. There are a few more Banelings looking for probes at the 4th base of Max. The spread was excellent on the workers. Only 7 workers going down there. Earlier it looked pretty good for Serral. This last attack, guys, I don't think was quite it. Those storms were a tiny bit too big. Serral is not sitting on like 9k, 7k. Where it's like, alright, here we go. Zerg Printer, nothing but Lings and Banes for the next 45 minutes. That was a decent investment, and he didn't get a whole lot out of it, but he's on 89 drones. Rolling Banes into mineral lines is just always worth it. I wish that was true. I'm sure that Elaser wishes that was true. Because if that was true, then he'd still be making very deep runs into BlizzCons. That's just not accurate. Banelings are pretty expensive. And if you get 7 probes over Protoss, that's on 81 workers, but you lost 18 Banelings, that's just a terrible trade. Especially if you don't have a bank. So it's absolutely not always worth it. Serral drops an Ultralisk Cavern, Serral drops a Great Aspire, or at least is upgrading a Great Aspire. I guess you don't really drop one. 10 Corruptors on the way. And I love the balance that Serral has found this game between units and drones and units and drones. He has felt pretty safe throughout the entire game. He has given himself opportunities to be aggressive, as much as Zerg can be aggressive on King's Cove. And yet he finds himself on Hive Tech with a very healthy drone count. But Zerg on Hive Tech against a rich Protoss, and Max is about to become a 5-base Protoss. If this is how game 1 is going to be, guys, we are in for one hell of a ride today. Because this game now has potential to just be like a 25, 30, 35 minute game. Can also end in the next 4 minutes if MaxPax takes an amazing fight with Time Warp, drops a couple big storms. I don't think that Serral is able to end this game anytime soon, especially not because he's investing in a lot of upgrades and production facilities that are going to take a little while. I don't really see MaxPax ending it either, to be fair. I think Serral does look strong in game 1. But he's going up against a mega strong Protoss that will always look strong. And that obviously wants to win this tournament so bad. Max has won so many one-day copies. So many $100, $200, $400 victories. But he's also waiting for that one truly big one. Never was able to win a Europe Regionals. Was never able to win a Lulu Cup or a Masters Coliseum. He did win the Piggy Cup. Feels like a Rocky Balboa movie. Serral is just slugging it out against a younger opponent. Rico gets used to save that 5th base. There are some workers falling. There are a couple Banelings in the mix. Not many, but a few. And they're both just finding a tiny bit of drones. I mean, at this point, Serral is obviously just trying to get the army that he's dreaming of. And a hot topic has been, and will be, the Viper. Are we going to see any Vipers at all, or is it just useless against all these High Templars in the Mothership that can no longer be abducted? For Serral to really win a fight in a very convincing manner, I think eventually the drone count is going to have to go down. But since we're definitely not as rich yet as we'd like to be before that even is going to happen, I don't really know how we play this out right now from Serral's point of view. What do you do? Attacking into a Protoss with cannon and shield battery support seems crazy. But if we're never attacking, it's also not going to get any better anytime soon. There are infestors out on the map. We are getting Neuroparasite. There will be some Fungos. No, the Mothership is a hero unit. It's immune to everything. It's a bit silly, but Max is gonna recall out, as obviously that's a few too many ultras. He realizes that that is not a fight that he should be taking. Serral could now potentially make a move on this 5th base, and this is a very important one, because this is the one obviously that still has the highest amount of gas left. This is where the mineral lines are the freshest. So MaxPax does not want to lose this, and he won't lose it. Nice blink, actually traps one of the ultras. Lurker gets denied. And this is going to be a day, guys. If this is how game 1 looks of a best of 7, the winner of this best of 7 will play against Hero right after. Might get 10-15 minutes, but if they're gonna do this to each other, then the Hero prediction to win it all is starting to look pretty good, guys. King's Grove is not a map that I'm very fond of, to be completely fair. Like, I didn't hate it at first when it came back, but then the more I see of it now, it's like, it just doesn't really give us the kind of games that I truly love. It gives us good games, long games, but not necessarily my favorite kind of games. I have no idea who the observer is now. I think they use different observers, because there have obviously been a lot of broadcasts over the last 20 days. I highly doubt that they have one person doing it all. No one should have done it all by himself. Champion will be crowned in 7 hours. Could be, mate. You never know. Not gonna worry over a long day. Obviously, I want this day to be long. I want to have us sit here for at least 4, 5, 6 hours. And hopefully see the very best that Max, Serral, and Hero have to offer. I'm starting to get very worried for Serral, even though no one does late games EVP better than Serral. But how do you find good fights? Well, maybe this is how. Good start to the fight, but... and it just doesn't really go anywhere. Max is obviously not going to take any risk here. He can get way more upgrades to make his army a bit better. He can get those shield upgrades, he can get armor upgrades. And he's just gonna take it one storm at a time. Wadi does not do the production of this tournament, matey. It is all organized and done by the WTL folks. So the guys that used to run the WTL Team League, and they also ran the Kung Fu Cup, they are the ones who do all of this. Technically, Europeans have nothing to do with it, except for the fact that we give them some amazing gamers. So they don't just have to cast the Koreans and the Chinese and the Taiwanese players. They get our European gamers. And then obviously you guys get some foreign language streamers, whether that is English, French, Polish, Russian. I think Portuguese as well from time to time. Other than that, this is all brought to you guys by the folks over in China. Couple fungals, a land on the High Templars and the Observer, but MaxPax gets another base. Obviously the banks are starting to get pretty large. They are maxed out. Most of the production facilities are done. Most of the upgrades are done. So losing a base here, it's annoying. You don't want to lose too many bases, but a single base here is nothing to really panic over. It is way better to just take a little L and sacrifice a base than like try to save a base that cannot be saved and then lose a bunch of expensive units too. The double recall has been a very okay. Pause. Wow, you don't see MaxPax pausing very often. That's unique. That is very unique. We haven't seen MaxPax pause in forever. Now I'm so curious what is happening over in the world of Max. I want to take a tiny look at one thing, by the way, guys. Because I forgot to change my status. Because I was late. Honestly, I should have no desire to play games. And just prepare better. Is Team Liquid down? Why is Team Liquid down so lately? So often lately? The game seems frustrating as a Zerg. It's frustrating as a Protoss as well. Alright. Max is back. I couldn't load Team Liquid, so I don't know if it's down or broken, but TO is slow. That's weird though, because that's been happening for a couple days and Team Liquid has literally always been perfect. For like 15 years straight in StarCraft 2 it's been perfect. Why is it slowing down now? Ownership's so broken. I know it's the final day, guys, and obviously on the final day when people see that it's finals or it's big money, we get a few more people stop by. That is awesome. I welcome you guys, but if you think that you're just gonna complain and moan about literally everything that's good about either race here, you're in the wrong place. I will permaban your ass. I am not in the mood for all of this to be about balance whining non-stop. All three players today are amazing. They've worked hard to get here. Arguably the best player is not even here because he got eliminated by a 3-way tie. Yes, Protoss has stuff that's annoying, that's good. Yes, Zerg has stuff that's annoying, that's good. If you want to whine, go elsewhere. I really don't care. I'm not interested. And I will not let you ruin my experience. Because this may be my job, but it's also something I do for fun. And I want to have fun today. And we're just going to moan and we're not going to give these players credit for anything. You're going to get banned. Because you take away my fun. And my fun is important to me. 0 Terrans in the top 4. Well, nobody is really worried about the state of Terran. Everybody knows that Clem is an absolute beast. And Clem would have been a massive favorite to win this entire... Not a massive... Well, sizable favorite, right? To win this entire tournament. If he didn't somehow get eliminated by a 3-way tie in the group stage. Serral Lenzafongo potentially gets a good fight. Unfortunately, the stream is lagging. Everything is lagging today. As MaxPax recalls his entire army back to the bottom left side. Okay, what the hell is this, man? The lag is so annoying. Ah! That is something you guys can complain about. Not my fault. I can't do anything about it. I hope it gets better throughout the day. If it gets really bad, they might let us join the games, actually. So that'd be amazing. Now I'm obviously totally out of my rhythm, but... Okay, this is horrible. I'm gonna try the other one again. What the hell? We've gone back a couple seconds, and I hope it's better. I don't know if it's better, guys, but we've gone back a couple seconds. We see that Max lost that mothership. No, he's got money to replace it. Yeah, the organizers of the Masters Coliseum obviously prefer us to watch a clean feed rather than join the game, so they can show off their commercials, they can show off their ads, and the Chinese branding. And it all makes sense to me. Like, this is their tournament, their effort, their money. I respect it. It's less fun than being in the game, but obviously makes total sense. But then I do really hope that the stream they give us is going to work. Because if that doesn't work properly, well, then it just becomes a very frustrating day. And I don't want it to be a frustrating day. Small group of ultras and lurkers in the bottom side. Ah, why are they doing this to us? I'm gonna complain on Discord. Maybe that will help, guys. It's been so good throughout this entire month. I've been here for a month. Watched everything, every single day from the group stage till the playoffs. It's always worked. And of course, on the final day, it's getting bad. Huh. Guys, it's really bad today. I'm not the only cast who's complaining, apparently. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, okay. It happens to the other streamers apparently as well. Cranky Ducklings is complaining on Discord. Palmy is complaining on Discord. I apologize to you guys. This is not how I want to start this stream. But yeah, this is kind of unwatchable and it really takes the fun and hype away. I think TKO is complaining too. I'm gonna see if I can join the games. Maybe this lag will be a good thing, because eventually we can actually just watch the games in-game, which would be amazing. I'm sorry that I'm not covering the game right now, but that's because I'm trying to make things better. Or at least I hope that I can make things better for game 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and the grand finals eventually. But since both players are still kind of rich and we have plenty of bases, nothing that is happening here is going to end this game anytime soon. I know it's very bad. Everybody is letting them know. I hope that they know. I hope that they care. I think they do care. So there is a chance that we're actually able to join the game from round 2 on forward. And that'd be very fun, because then A, I have the replays, and B, I can do my own observing. And my own observing is, I don't want to say unrivaled, unparalleled, but it kind of is. Fonka and Mapu have been taking notes for years. And I get it. If I was them, I'd do that too. This is, and they're not responding, which is very frustrating. I'm giving up a little bit on this game 1, guys. Yo. Since nobody is responding in the public WTL channel that we have on Discord, I'm just personally reaching out to the Chinese admin and see if I can maybe join the game. Or if they are working on a solution. Like, obviously I am completely okay with showing their branding, their ads, but they can't be doing this to us. This tournament has been awesome. I've enjoyed the qualifiers, I've enjoyed the group stage, I've enjoyed the playoffs. They cannot do this to us on the final day. I think MaxPax just missed a revelation, by the way. Happens to the best of us. Some people attack rocks, other people miss revelations. Nah, the players are not lagging. This is completely unrelated to the players. Even though MaxPax did miss that revelation, right? So maybe he is lagging, but no. There should never be any lag. Well, we are just watching a stream, and the problem is that the stream is lagging. But there is no lag in-game. There is no lag on Battle.net. Can't you push the stream back for like 1 minute? I mean, I could do that, but that's still very annoying. Yeah, I can see if that's slightly better. Alright. I've gone back 40 seconds, so you guys have already seen this. But not in actual moving images. Very unfortunate though, because it's been so good. The Chinese admin is telling me that they fixed it. Do you guys think they fixed it? No. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Couple revelations land on the Broodlords. We land a feedback on the Infestor. Taking a look at the banks, Serral has a monstrous bank, but MaxPax is still pretty rich too. And above all, King's Cove is such a large map that there are plenty of bases that he can still work with. They say OBS is green now. Alright. Well, so far so good. Try refresh, yeah, but then we miss actually 30 seconds that we've never seen before. What if I refresh into a GG screen? Alright, they said they fixed it. I want to be live. I want to have the feeling that we're live. Let's see if they fixed it. GG! No, it's just a carrier die. Almost GG. Guys, I see Vipers! I always believed in those Vipers. Watch Lulu says Serral's dead. I don't think anybody's dead. MaxPax, his gas bank is really not that big. He's got a lot of carriers, by the way. It's worth pointing out. And against a lot of carriers, we do believe in the Loco maneuver. More than ever before. A 31-minute game 1 between MaxPax and Serral. Unfortunately, it's been a bit laggy. Yeah. It should do it automatically, but if it starts lagging, then I blame you guys, but okay. So far, so good. Let's hope it works. 6 lurkers will burrow on the high ground. They got a High Templar there, or a Zealot. Maybe like the next 2-3 minutes in this game, tiny bit scary for MaxPax, because MaxPax right now absolutely does not have the bank to replace a bunch of expensive units. Even replacing a bunch of High Templars could become somewhat problematic. Losing this center base I don't think is that big of a deal for Max. There's only a single gas there, most of the minerals are gone. No, it has nothing to do with either Twitch or YouTube. It has something to do with the stream that we're getting from China, but it's okay. Players are fine. We are kind of fine for now, so fingers crossed. Oh, I'd be very shocked if MaxPax was not holding his own today. Because he did win 9 days ago over Serral 3-1. He won against Serral 4 days ago. Serral's killing his own Overlord with Queens, by the way. And he supply blocked. Serral, the first supply block Yona has ever faced. After his Queens killed his own Overlord. Corruptors looking for a freebie. Vipers looking for an abduct on a carrier. Obviously the mothership cannot get abducted. MaxPax got 2 big armies. One in the top right. That one honestly is something that I think Serral could maybe jump on. The Archons are scary. Storms will always hurt a little bit. One of the 17 recalls that are currently available got used. MaxPax now needs to be somewhat careful with his army, and he realized that as he's gonna go use that other recall. One went to the Nexus, the other one went to the mothership. MaxPax didn't lose a lot of supply there. Didn't really get a whole lot in return, and he only has 600 gas in the bank. Right now, that bottom left side base is incredibly important for the men from Denmark. Serral was also probably wondering, if this is going to happen 16 games in a row. I am not liking this. Could be a very long day. If Max makes it into the final, you know, PvP, obviously yesterday it was great, but on average will never go as long as PvZ. This is still game 1, Kingy. And honestly, it's not even close to ending. MaxPax is in a tiny bit of trouble because, as you guys pointed out wisely as well, the gas is becoming a real issue. It's been a bit of an issue for a bit, but now it's becoming a real issue because he can't even really max out on the units that he wants to max out on. But he does still have the bottom left. He should theoretically get his hands on that base at 3 o'clock. Serral needs to be careful here with the Broodlords. So far he is. I mean, Serral is really putting on another clinic of late game ZVP. And all those comments about how Zerg can't do anything, it kind of feels a little bit silly now, because I kind of feel like Serral is starting to take control of this game. Starting to take this game by the horns. But it's going to take a while. I don't know. I would say normally yes, Marvelous Times. I would normally say yes, but if you have to play them back to back, obviously it will not benefit Serral in the grand finals if he has a 5-hour best of 7 with MaxPax. Because even Yona is only human. So there's only one man who's probably looking at this and he's smiling a little, and that's Hero. And Hero's like, yeah, do this 7 times, guys. Please do this 7 times. Serral's got 5k gas in the bank. MaxPax has 1. This is an interesting little army by Max. I don't know if he had an observer there. Seems like he didn't. Ah, you cannot run into lurkers if you have no detection. PvP finals would honestly be very exciting. If you guys saw those PvPs yesterday between MaxPax and Hero, and you didn't think that was exciting, well, then you're just a hater of StarCraft. Or you're just a racist and you hate Protoss in particular. I don't know what's worse. I think all 3 are amazing. I'm okay with every final. I'm okay with every storyline. It's a little bit sad that we lost Clem in the group stage when we did. Because obviously Clem would have been fun to have in the playoffs as well. But other than that, these 3 were amazing, and these 3 were simply the best. So I can't hate on any potential outcome. Can't hate on anybody winning. Can't hate on any final. I have peace with it. As long as I'm not looking at 9 mech games in a row, TVT, I'm a happy guy. Shout out to Roxy for the prime. Maru is still very good, but was not very good in this event, and that happens. That happens to every StarCraft 2 player. Everyone has their moments where they're a tiny bit off. But I still expect some great things from Maru. If there will be more big, fun StarCraft tournaments to look forward to, I'm very positive that Maru once more will be one of the strongest players. That's not. I don't think that's ridiculous. Why, Husko? I don't think you're the only man in the chat or woman right now that believes that if Clem was in the playoffs that he could have won the entire thing. I think the only thing is ridiculous is somebody said, I don't think Clem even in the playoffs would have done anything. No. Clem would have been a top candidate to win it all. Definitely not guaranteed, because Max is mega good and beats him sometimes. Hero is mega good, beats him sometimes. Be silly to count Serral out. Be silly to count Reynor out. But Clem would be among the 5 favorites to win it all, and probably be the biggest favorite of the 5. We are 4 minutes away from having 2 zeros in front of the clock. And that means that in the old days, this would have been a 1-hour game. Keeping your eye on the minimap, guys. Clock above it. Once we enter like 42 minutes and 40 seconds, zeros appear. That is arguably going to be the most exciting thing that will happen in the next 4 minutes. I was just talking about Maru. I love it when people are like, Hey Roddy, what do you think about Maru? Like you speak about Maru for a minute. Next guy comes in, is like, so where is Maru? Well, I think he's over in South Korea, mate. The way he always was. Why was the old clock slightly faster? So that has to do with the game settings of StarCraft, where they made that clock tick on fast, but then the mode that we actually played on is not fast, but it's the fastest mode in StarCraft 2. And for some reason they didn't adjust the clock, so the clock was just quicker. Serral's got 12,000 minerals in the bank, 7,400 gas. MaxPax has 5,200 minerals, 3k gas. So he's also kind of rich again. Serral having his hands on the 3 o'clock base is very, very good for him. If this truly turns into the ultimate war of attrition, this is something that could decide the game in Serral's favor, but we are definitely not there yet. Both players have the potential to take an absolutely amazing fight, and these armies are so expensive that if one of the two takes a dreadful fight, they are in serious trouble. Even Serral, with his big bank, would be in trouble if he takes a really bad fight. What is the game plan here? Well, Max's game plan is take it one base at a time, get my dream army, make sure I have all the upgrades, which I think he kind of does, and then make sure that the High Templars get some storms off and the Tempests get free kills. Serral's game plan is make sure I have way more money than MaxPax, take away resources on his side of the map, and then eventually kill this army and hope he can't rebuild it. You can start pushing with cannons and batteries, but since battery overcharge is no longer a thing, it's not necessarily that good to have a whole bunch of batteries out on the map. Oh, okay. That could also be the game plan. Split off a mothership and recall not the entire army, but the vast majority of your army to that mothership. Actually gonna allow MaxPax to kill a hatchery, the Hydra's den, the Baning Nest, but now we need to recall out again. Protoss! Oh my, imagine if that Nexus would have died. Oh my god, that was risky. Imagine if that Nexus dies. Then well, that would have been exciting, guys. We are 1 minute away from the zeros appearing. I am pumped. What would have happened? You lose cooldown on your recall. You can't recall out anymore. That army be stuck. So if that Nexus dies, the recall just doesn't go through. But the cooldown does still get activated. So MaxPax would be stuck with his entire army. That was a mega close call. I wonder if it was on purpose that he recalled to that Nexus, or if he just has all his Nexus on one hotkey and he just recalled the entire army. And it's like, holy smokes, it's that one. Those Lings are feisty with Adrenal Glands and +3 melee as they get on top of the bottom left side base. That is still an important one for MaxPax, but MaxPax has been able to mine from it for so long right now that it's not necessarily going to be mega important, mega crucial immediately. Ten seconds to go, guys. It's kind of like New Year's Eve. It's like 5, 4, 3. Give me those zeros. I'm so pumped. No, it's not quite 4240. Damn it. I thought it was. You've been lied to. It's like the year 2000 all over again. There's a big revelation lands on the entire army. Oh, there we go. It's 4250. Learn something new every day. Hype. Actual hype. That countdown into nothing really hurt. Well, mate, 25 years ago we thought that the world would come to an end. And actually we just entered the year 2000, so it really wasn't that bad. MaxPax did get the Tempest upgrade this time. We've seen quite a few games of him lately where he's got a silly amount of Tempest. But he doesn't get the upgrade. Serral ends the fungal. Can we get a parasitic bomb as well? Is this a potential big fight? There is a para bomb. There is another fungal. This is gonna hurt. This is not a fight that MaxPax wants to take at all. Serral has been very patiently waiting for fungals like that. But Protoss uses another get out of jail free card. And the army gets saved. Since 2000 things have been going downhill. I mean, we got Twitch in StarCraft 2 in 2010, so I would say that that was actually a serious peak. Now for a couple of years maybe things have gone downhill. I am hyped and I am excited for today, guys, but I'm obviously not going to shout over every single tiny thing in a 45-minute game because we'll have a lot of these potentially. And I want to save some energy and some hype and some passion for the finals too. And this is just the 1-0 lead in the best of 7. You know, a couple Zerglings could run in game 2 and we could be all tied up, or a couple Zealots could run into a Zerg Natural and we're all tied up. Who do we like it for? I mean, based on the banks right now, we like it for Serral. This game is one that looks promising for Serral, but it's not a guaranteed victory. Roddy's not a fan of the Korean style casting. I mean, that has nothing to do with Korean style casting, right? I highly doubt that they'd be shouting over everything for a 46-minute game. And it's definitely not a solo cast. And also game 1 or game 7 is different, right? If this was game 7, the casting is very different than it is in game 1. And if you don't do that, then I just think it's silly. Look at that Zealot. Oh my god, that Zealot had hopes, dreams, ambitions. That hatchery is on like 1 HP. I love the French casting. I love the French guys. I'm gonna have a time warp. We're gonna have a big recall. Maybe MaxPax feels like it's been enough and he wants to give you guys a little action. As the fungal does land immediately, MaxPax has dropped some supply. Serral's got 170 supply, by the way. How on earth does MaxPax beat a 172 army supply of the Great Jonas Sotala? With fungals, with parasitic bombs, with the Loco maneuver. Honestly, I think MaxPax is gonna get cooked. I'm afraid that this game is actually going to come to an end without actually a very exciting fight. And that does hurt my soul a little bit as a StarCraft 2 fan. I'm all for long games, but I do want it to be exciting. This kind of seems we are back in the glory days of Yona, finding one carrier at a time, one Tempest at a time. And we might just see total domination, total annihilation soon. I'm not feeling the strength of this Protoss army against the strength of this Zerg army. I know what well-upgraded Corruptors are capable of, and Corruptors should cook here. Yes, you're not the first one to say that, J. Close, but I think it's such a bad thing. Such a bad take. Now, Max absolutely does not have the gas to keep this up. He doesn't even really have the minerals to keep this up, to be fair. Don't forget that carriers also are very mineral intensive. And on top of that, the longer the game goes, the more healthy your mineral bag needs to be. Otherwise, you can't rebuild interceptors. Carriers have a very unique dynamic, where you do need to pay for the attacks if your interceptors die. You don't have to pay for every attack that an interceptor does, but you do have to pay to rebuild them. Oh, Yona! No! Well, that's kind of silly. That's a few too many infestors. But it's okay. Serral can rebuild them. He still has 4,700 gas. Serral hit himself with a tiny facepalm there. A big mistake, but a mistake that I still think Serral can absolutely get away with. MaxPax could not get away with that. If he has 8 High Templars now and they randomly die, well, MaxPax is cooked. Serral hit us with a tiny facepalm. The only thing that really stings right now for Serral is that it takes a long time before he gets a lot of energy back on the infestors. Since they will spawn with 75 energy, and obviously a lot of them had way more than that. Ling run-bys have been very good. The natural has been brutalized, and now even the main starting to look a little bit empty. MaxPax is starting to be a tiny bit aggressive while having only 300 gas in the bank. And that means that every fight right now could be the final fight. That tiny stasis trap, he is cute. The feedbacks are nice. The +3 melee Zerglings with Adrenal glands are very annoying to deal with. What I am very surprised by though, guys, is that MaxPax does not have a Dark Shrine in a 49-minute game. Like, even if you do not care about using the Dark Shrine aggressively, having defensive DTs is just excellent. It is so nice to deal with Zergling run-bys or force the Zerg to bring Overseers every time. But of course, MaxPax has a lot of flying units, so why not have some Overseers? Careful, Serral. Serral is paying attention this time. That is an absolutely amazing Fong. That's a nice catch, and MaxPax is not able to replace some of those units that he lost there. The map is definitely not fully mined out yet. The bases on the right side and the left side still have resources. I think Serral, his center base right here, still has some resources. But it's there's not a whole lot left, mate. You know? Compare the map to my Twitch career. It's been going on for a while. Once upon a time we were flying. Right now we're not totally done yet, but we're starting to run on our last legs, you know? But there is life. There are minerals to be found. There is passion to be found. A little bit of gas to be found as well. On stream, off stream. I do really think that Serral is just going to take this first game though, guys. On a more serious note, Serral's got everything he needs to deal with this army of MaxPax. And I think MaxPax is maybe hoping that Serral would lose his patience or be a bit stubborn and attack into all those cannons and batteries, but Serral's having none of it. He says, I am the reigning defending champ of the Masters Coliseum. And I'm not going to do anything silly today. Even if it takes me 14 hours to win all these games, I'm willing to do it. And I think Max now finds himself in that scenario where he's like, well, I've got literally 0 gas income. I've got 185 gas in the bank. I'm nowhere near maxed out. And the worst thing for MaxPax is that MaxPax doesn't just need to win the next fight, which is going to be incredibly difficult. I don't think he wins the fight, to be fair. But let's say there is a world where he does win the fight. Serral can rebuild so much. So he also needs to deal with all the reinforcements, which I'm afraid is almost impossible. And that's why I think this game is kind of going out like a beautiful, nice smelling Woodwick candle in the wind. Where it was beautiful, it looked cool, it had its moments, but the candle's gone. 10 minutes, Jacobs. 10 minutes into the corner. You fell for that. What did he say? Nothing. He's just being annoying. And he thought he was being funny, but I didn't think it was funny. So now, in the end, he's the one who fell for it. He fell for the trap of trying to be funny. We land a little fungal. Couple storms land. Time warp goes down. I wish I was excited. Well, those storms are very good for MaxPax. So now I'm getting a bit more excited. Serral does need to be careful. The fungals have been good. The parasitic bomb is amazing. Are we going for the loco maneuver? Oh, we are locoing all over MaxPax in game 1. And there it is, guys. After 50-something minutes, the very first game of the day comes to an end. And the reigning defending champ, the great Jonas Sotala, takes the 1-0 lead. Well, once an hour, guys, on Twitch, you have to run ads if you want to have not the worst deal ever. That game was almost an hour. We snoozed already 4 times, so we have to run some ads, and then we'll be back with game 2. I don't think we're going to see too many games like that. Game 2 should be a little bit more action-packed. It's coming up right now. Is Team Liquid working now, by the way? Is it still slow? Why is Team Liquid slow? I will explain the loco maneuver to great detail as soon as I'm back. Abyssal Reef. Honestly, could be another 50 minutes. I'll be right back, guys. roll down the blinds a little. Slightly better lighting. Round 2 of this best of a 7. In the bottom right side of Abyssal Reef, we're looking at the main base of the man who went full first, hatch first. It is Serral. Top left side, we're looking at the main base of PSISTORM Gaming's very own MaxPax, the man who wins all the one-day tournaments, but would love to win a big one once, one that's very stretched out, one that has a much larger prize pool. This is perhaps the best opportunity he's had so far. But he is down 0-1 in this lower bracket final, I guess we can call it. It is the lower bracket final. Second to last match of the entire tournament. So did MaxPax see something he could do, or did he underestimate Serral's gas bank? I mean, towards the very end, there's not much he can do anymore. I think Serral was just everywhere he needed to be. There were, in a 50-minute game, there's obviously a lot of things that he could have done different. It has a lot to do, obviously, with the mid-game exchanges that happened. I think for the last 15 minutes, the game kind of went the way that it should against someone like Serral. Against the lesser Zerg, you can always hope that you land all the feedbacks, that you take a great fight, but Serral is incredibly good with these monstrous Zerg armies. When it comes to late-game spellcasting, he's not going to slip up there. But of course there is so much you can do different in the early game, in the mid game, in the early stages of the late game. Just because players are maxed out doesn't mean we're entering the late game. Because you still need to get all those upgrades, you need to gather a bank, you need to get your hands on additional bases. Every map is different. And there's nothing that would suggest that Abyssal Reef is going to play out like King's Cove. What is the longest competitive game you've commented on? I think around 2 hours. There was an era of swarm host games where the swarm hosts were not flying yet and they were just little trills on the ground. I did not cast Mana versus Firecake, but I did do a lot of games in that era. So a lot of the ZVPs back then went on forever. The ZVZs between Stefano and Petraeus on Lone Star Clash stand out. Those games went on absolutely forever. It was not fun, it was not exciting. It hurt me. But it is a part of StarCraft 2 history. Shout out to Albino Spider for the 24 months. Thank you to Ian Blue for the 36. It almost killed SC2. I wouldn't go that far. Just, you know, once in a while you end up in metas that are just not that fun. And Blizzard has not been that quick throughout history in changing things that look problematic. 50-minute games are long, but we've done that quite a few times. Nothing we haven't seen before or done before. Serral hits with a decent amount of Zerglings. MaxPax warped in a couple Zealots. Maybe felt that Adepts would have just died too quick there. Has to send the Oracle all the way back. Serral's not going to get the pylon. On Abyssal Reef, during their best of 5 in the big rainbows, MaxPax went Void Ray Oracle into a second Stargate with multiple voids. It really was kind of a cool build. It didn't quite work out. He couldn't quite get the momentum going with the Void Rays that he had in mind, but it was fun to take a look at. And obviously mind games will start playing a role when these two guys have not played against each other in like 1 year and 2 months, and suddenly they play a best of 5, a best of 5, and a best of 7 within 9 days from each other. You know, it's a lot about, hey, I've shown you this before, I'm making you think back of this, but then I'm gonna have a very different follow-up. But what goes for Max will obviously go for Serral too. I went for a quick drink. Did I miss the explanation of the loco maneuver? We did it the other day, but I can tell you guys again, even though there are a lot of Zealots potentially on the way soon. Now, Serral's pretty well set up. He's got a Roach 1, he's building Roaches, so I don't think Serral's in any danger of dying to the first move out of MaxPax here. But the idea of the loco maneuver, that's actually the Dimaga maneuver, because I think Dimaga was the very first Zerg to pull it off. But all the big boys called it the loco maneuver, and Loco just laughed about it, and he said, we'll roll with it, why not? Obviously, carriers have interceptors, and interceptors, even if you can't click on them, are units that have HP. Interceptors don't have a lot of HP. Parasitic Bomb is an area of effect spell, If you drop a Parabomb on Protoss air units and then you move your Corruptors in range of those air units, the Interceptors stay within the range of those Corruptors that are on top of the carriers, but the carriers are affected by Parabomb, which means that all the Interceptors are in range of the Parasitic Bomb, and Interceptors will die to Parasitic Bomb. So the only thing you can then do with your carriers is click on something that is out of range of the Corruptors, but then you're not fighting the Corruptors. That is the loco maneuver. Move Corruptors in range of Parabomb and hope that the carriers lose all their Interceptors, and without Interceptors, carriers do literally nothing. They don't have anything else. It's Interceptors or Busto. Serral's firing up a lot of roaches, a couple of ravages in the mix as well, and it's starting to look like Serral is going to try to be very aggressive here. MaxPax, I think, has a pretty good read on this. Getting stasis trappies, he's getting some cannons. We've got some war prism play. Game 2 is going to play out in a very different way. Getting rid of this prism would be mega for Serral if he can get that prism. Then he doesn't have to worry about keeping units at home and he can just fully focus on his aggression on this side of the map. I don't think MaxPax can ever keep this base alive. I mean, this base doesn't even have any HP, so he's just gonna have to cancel it. But what is a lot more important for MaxPax right now is just not die. I love that little cannon. That's so useful against the link drops. Serral is gonna have to worry about the storms, of course. The storms will always have potential. MaxPax microing the High Templars back. Oracle dies. And this is so much Zerg. There is so much Zerg here in game 2. Serral's macro. I mean, you guys are talking a lot about Stefan in the chat right now. This is very reminiscing of those days. The Immortal count is going up. The War Prism is low on HP. It did get recalled, so it can get used to save these Immortals. But how on earth do you save Immortals against 200 supply of Serral? 9 minutes into the game, it's at his front door. Wow. Serral, as he wiggles in his chair, knows that this one is in the bag. 68 supply of drones into nothing but roaches, ravages, queens, some overlords to spread creep. And even if MaxPax had some cannons, had a stasis trappy, just couldn't get the army up. I think especially moving units towards the left side of the third base there was painful for Max. Because with without the War Prism there, those units are just kind of stuck and then they need to run further and further away. And that opens up such a large area for Serral. I don't know if MaxPax micros back to the natural, if that goes a whole lot better, because the Ravager count is so high that then you're gonna have to go through a choke point and you're gonna keep on collecting corrosive balls. But that would have maybe had slightly more potential. Serral was not in the mood to do that all over again on Abyssal. And from here on out, guys, like Whispers of Gold, I think it's also not a map where we are likely to see a mega long game. It could obviously be like 25-30 minutes, but 50-minute games on the remaining maps, I truly only see happen, I think, on El Dorado. I don't know if that's going to happen either. MaxPax, of course, did not go Blink Stalkers this game. He opened up with Zealots and +1. That is very good against Zerglings. Even if Zerglings have +1, your Zealots will still do great. Is not that good against a million Roaches. Roaches have always been good against Zealots. And the moment where the Protoss army becomes stronger again is if the High Templar count goes up, the Immortal count goes up, a bunch of Archons, and then having a few Zealots in the mix is obviously nice. But great decision by Serral. Takes the 2-0 lead in the lower bracket final. Top left side at the Finnish Phenom. He did not win any of the two recent best of 5s. But he could potentially win the most important best of 7 here. But we're not there yet. Bottom right side, I'm sure he's feeling the pressure a little bit right now. Because as I said, it is definitely a bit of a story throughout Max's career. That he is so ridiculously good in a lot of these one-day events. And even in the slightly bigger events, he's been here, he's done that. He wins so many of them. But Max has never won like the quote-unquote biggest event of the month. That everybody looks forward to with a big prize pool. That is not a weekly event. And kind of felt that with Clem being eliminated in the group stage and Protoss being as powerful as it currently is, that MaxPax had a real shot to win this. Yesterday, upper bracket final, PvP. Normally that is Max's dream scenario. He's in trouble, but I'm not counting him out yet. It seems that the Lurker Den doesn't come from a Hydra Den anymore. It's a different building. It's not, you don't upgrade the Hydra Den, you just build a Hydra Den, and once you have a Hydra Den, you can build a Lurker Den. Having a single Void Ray against a Roach Ravager Queen build is good. It can definitely make a big difference, especially if the Void Ray is in a very strong defensive position, but a single Void is not really going to make all the difference there, because of course there are a bunch of Queens in the mix, and Queens are silly good against Void Rays, especially a high Queen number against a low Void Ray number. But even a high Ravager count is very useful, because for Void Rays to be great against Roaches, you need to activate Prismatic Alignment, but if you activate Prismatic Alignment, well, then it's an easy target for the Ravagers, so... Looking at how that played out, I don't think a single Void would have really made the difference. And the Ravagers indeed do not take bonus damage from Voids. Oracles feel good against Ravagers. But for Oracles, it's the same thing. They're gonna have a very hard time finding a sweet spot to truly just stand there and fight against a bunch of Queens and against a bunch of Ravagers. Why are Ravagers not armored? Maybe to make them slightly better against Immortals. Because otherwise Immortals become just mega good against those kinds of armies. Yeah. Smiling and chuckling at the comment of Hero knows a thing or two about Void Rays and Ravagers. The other day I played a ladder game on the Brazilian server, and I managed to lose 3 Void Rays against literally just like 4 Ravagers. It was actually... Now that was a bit of a ping issue, but... It felt very sad. That you lose one is already kind of unacceptable, but you're like, okay. It wasn't that there were like 45 Ravagers, no. It was like 4 Ravagers and they killed 3 Void Rays. That's kind of sad. Spore Crawler not quite done yet, but there is a Queen helping out from the high ground, and that's very important. Otherwise this Oracle would have found a bunch of extra workers. Whispers of Gold is a fun map. I would say out of the 6 new maps that we got, this is my favorite. I just kind of like it. It's not so small that it becomes very stupid, but it's also not so large that it turns into turtle festivals. It just gives us often very action-packed dynamic games. And those are obviously the favorite games, at least for me to watch. Did I try Balatro? No. I didn't even know what it was, but people recently told me that it's some sort of an electronic card game. I've never played it, never downloaded it, never installed it. I'm not a man who tries a lot of games in general. Over the last few months I have somehow found games that I like. But I'm not somebody who tries everything. Most of the time I look at something and then I just come to the conclusion that it's not for me. Max or Hero is better in PvZ. They're different. They have different skills. Overall, I think I would give it to Max, but Hero has historically gotten some really big victories. Like, it's also important to keep in mind that when you're this deep into a tournament, and obviously there are mind games and players will definitely prepare because the money is getting more serious, that it's not even so much about like who's better, right? It's more about who brings it, who can bring it when it matters the most. And whether you love Serral or don't like him all that much, or you just hate Zerg players in general, or you think he's the GOAT, Serral has historically pretty much always brought it on big moments when it matters. And this is something that, yeah, MaxPax has still not found himself in that many very impactful series yet. Of course, a lot of serious series in the Europe Regionals where he'd get deeper. He's been in a final of the Europe Regionals, but yeah, for the few finals that MaxPax has been in where the money is a whole lot bigger, Serral has been in 20 of them. Hero literally just beat Serral. Yes, he did. He also lost a whole bunch of games against Serral. MaxPax also literally just beat Serral. Once in this tournament, once in another tournament, twice in the last 7 days. So, but that does not matter. If you're in the lower bracket final and it's tournament live on the line, that's very different than when it's a single best of 5 in a different event, or when it's early in the playoffs, or if it's in the group stage. It's not the same. Storm on the way, +1 on the way for Max, who has gone back to his beloved Blink Stalkers. Serral has some roaches here, a couple of queens. Say it's the right amount of units. And he continues to be active with the Zerglings in the bottom side of the map. Max sitting on a lot of minerals. Pretty, I want to say big supply block, but one pylon is about to finish up. There's one active creep tumor here, and I have the feeling that MaxPax is not aware of it, that it's still there. If that creep tumor would have been gone, then creep would have gone back a bit further. Very good job with the stasis traps there. Excellent blinks by MaxPax. This is where things may not look that scary, but it can suddenly get really scary. One great fight on the side of Max, and this one could be over. We could be all tied up. Serral is going to run into even more stasis traps. MaxPax saw this one coming. The supply doesn't look too bad for Serral, but it also doesn't look like he's about to find a slam dunk victory. With the 40 extra Zerglings on the production tab, he will stabilize for now, and he's a 5 base Zerg. That is fantastic news for Serral. MaxPax can definitely not afford to lose this base against 5 bases of Serral. Serral fires up 8 Dropper Lords. Holy smoke, that's... I almost feel like that's maybe a mistake. That's just a bit too many. What are we gonna do with 8 Dropper Lords? Okay, we're literally gonna pick up the entire army? We're picking up everything. MaxPax hasn't quite seen it yet. That could obviously happen in the main base. There are 1,000 minerals. It's so important for MaxPax to pick up on this. He is getting some cannons, some batteries. Most of the gateways are in the main, so if all of these units of Serral do make it into the main base, MaxPax could be in trouble, and all the High Templars on the low ground. Max cannot afford to lose power to all these gates. Serral is showing a tiny army at the 4th, but that's not the real attack. The real attack is the 8 Dropper Lords. MaxPax has a cannon, has a couple Stalkers, first High Templars in the mix, but MaxPax basically needs everything. He needs his entire army here. Nice contaminate, by the way, on the forts. The storm of MaxPax is pretty good. Max leaves a couple of units on the low ground. So far, it looks like MaxPax is handling this quite okay. First storm there was excellent. The second one mostly hurt our Stalkers, but MaxPax is going to keep the main base safe. And that is by far and away the biggest move here. He kept the 4th base safe as well. I mean, that's a hold. Wow, impressive, because that was difficult. Especially with the way that Serral set up that attack by making MaxPax worry about the 4th base. Is showing a lot of Zerglings there, showing some Roaches and Ravages. Excellent save on the main by Max. Very well done. That was hard. Unless the Protoss falls apart there, guys. There are very few Protoss players on the planet that would have handled that as calm, cool, and collected as MaxPax did. So very well done by the man from Denmark as the storm connects on the Zerglings. MaxPax still keeping that 4th base safe. Serral's now just kind of trying to buy some time for himself, because obviously he's got Hive on the way, he's got a Lurker Den on the way, but you know, MaxPax's supply is reaching that point where he's moving out soon. And especially if he sees less of Serral, he's like, oh, you don't want me to move out? Well, then I'm definitely moving out. And I think here we go. Why did he focus the refineries? It's probably because there is a lot happening. Serral's main target there is not the assimilators in the main. But he also wants to make sure that his army doesn't get super split up immediately. And if he then gets stormed, he's in trouble. Serral, of course, does not have vision of the natural of MaxPax, so he doesn't exactly know where all the units are. In hindsight, could Serral have done that better? Perhaps, but I also think MaxPax just did it excellent. As that one stasis trap there, by the way, saves all those Zerglings, but at this point, it is MaxPax's world. As he's got a big army on top of the 5th base of Serral. He's in the main, he's in the 3rd. Just like that, or 4th, whatever it was. MaxPax is everywhere. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere. And he gets one on the board. GG. And fantastic hold, fantastic defense in the main base. Well done by Max. Shout out to the StarCraft historian. Hello, matey. I don't know if you're still here, but I appreciate you. Thank you to Bro Maria as well for the 29 months. 1 hour and 20 minutes in. The Finnish Phenom is still up, but we've got a series. Next one is El Dorado. Out of the remaining maps, this is the one map where I can still see it turn into a bit of a turtle festival. Yes, Steph. So basically the new ability, Energy Recharge, is something that top tier Protosses will use all the time on their Oracles, because with all that Oracle energy, you can spam Revelations to push the creep back, and you can also drop way more Stasis Traps than you otherwise would have been able to. In the past, you kind of had to think about like, okay, do I want the Stasis Trap here? Do I want the Stasis Trap there? Because I want to make sure I've got energy for Pulsar Beam. Right now, as a toss, you can basically do it all. You can drop Stasis Traps everywhere you want. And MaxPax did an excellent job in spacing them out and not allowing the Zerglings of Serral to get a really good fight against those Stalkers at that 12 o'clock base. I'll take a little break as well, guys. How's the time? Okay, we're 30 minutes. 30 minutes is safe. I'll be right back for game 4. El Dorado. Map 4. Lower bracket final of the best of 7. Bottom right side, he's still down 1-2, but he found some momentum there on Whispers of Gold. It is PSISTORM Gaming's MaxPax. Bottom left side, of course, the Finnish Phenom, the man who won the Masters Coliseum 1 year ago. Back then, exactly a year ago, the grand finals was Serral versus Hero. We're 2 maps away from having a repeat. So a lot of things have changed. We've had a lot of tournaments. We've had a different patch, different map pool, different meta. We could very well have the exact same finals as we had exactly a year ago. But we're not there yet. Max is obviously gonna try to ruin that storyline and create his own storyline of him finally winning a really big online tournament. I think the biggest one he's won so far was the Pick tournament a year and a half ago, where he beat Maru in the grand finals. That was pretty big, but Masters Coliseum is even bigger. Serral's military service was basically from... It was after Katowice, and then it ended in August, so it was like 4 or 5 months. Obviously, this tournament was in January last year, so Serral was not in the military, and he's definitely not been in the military anytime soon. Was that 1 year ago where Hero didn't attack for like 25 minutes after Serral's Nidus attack failed early and in the end lost because he was so hesitant? I don't remember that, mate. When I think back of Masters Coliseum, I mostly think back of the absolutely epic game that Hero and Reynor had on Site Delta. That was one of the best PvCs of the entire year. It was insane, it was long, it was a proper roller coaster where Hero was winning, Reynor was winning, Hero was winning, Reynor was winning. That was probably the best game of the entire Masters Coliseum, and will go down as the best PvC, I think, of 2024. The Ratu Set game does ring... Oh my god, yeah, that does ring a bell. Yes. Yeah, the Ratu Set. I forgot that map, but yes. Yeah, that was a thing. Oh my god, Hero was so far ahead. He was so far ahead. Yeah, I remember that. Reynor was losing his mind. He was like, even Roddy would win from this position. I was like, hey, why are you saying fuck me for? What did I do? But yes, that was a game. Indeed. Good memory, guys. MaxPax's Adapt makes it into the bottom side of the map. Serral has decided to take the 3rd base next to his main, mining out those gold minerals. Wonder what this changes for Max. By the looks of it, MaxPax just wants to expand towards the top side of the map, so I'm gonna play this out in a pretty unique way. Where Serral's focus is going to be on the bottom, MaxPax's focus is going to be on the top. Now you can obviously create a lot of different attack paths on this map. You can mine out your own mineral, you can mine out the minerals in the center. You could eventually mine out the gold, that would also free up a lot of room. This could be a long game. I kind of feel that El Dorado is going to scream. Maybe not necessarily 50 minutes, but I would say out of the remaining maps, this one has the most potential to go to distance. El Dorado is apparently Spanish for gold rush. And this map does look mega similar to Golden Wall, an all-time classic. There's no Spore Crawler here. MaxPax tries to get lucky with a combination of the Void Ray and the Oracle, but good defense by Serral. This is a mega Terra map, isn't it? Clem would not agree with that. Clem said this is a difficult map for Terra. Now Clem does meme a little bit in this channel. Not everything that Clem says is accurate. You'd think that you could trust the world champion of StarCraft too, but I have the feeling he's taking the piss every now and then. Void Ray really wants to get that second creep tumor too, but that ain't happening. Got the first one though. Yeah, Clem also had some hot takes about Ghost River, said it wasn't that good against Protoss. Against Zerg it was alright. Yeah, I love Clem. Sweet kid, amazing StarCraft player, but I don't take everything he says mega serious. The Lynx get a mini surround on the Stalker. The pylon is there to reduce some of that surface area. Stalker will fall since Max is opening up with Blink Stalkers. That's actually a pretty nice little pickup. A serious prediction about his upcoming match. Well, I played the prediction game with Vicky this morning. I asked her who she thinks is going to win. Obviously Vicky has been missing me for a month because I've been here literally every single day covering all the games. She thinks Hero wins the tournament today. My prediction off the record, and it's not necessarily what I want, but what I just thought was going to happen, is that I thought MaxPax was going to win it all. But 3 games in, maybe that prediction is looking a little bit shaky. But you know, you gotta believe in your gut, right? You gotta believe in your original prediction. But so far, Serral is looking very good. He's looking very sharp. He's got a lot of great ideas. And I did say multiple times before we started watching these games today, while I was playing a couple of very mediocre ladder games, that what makes today fun and exciting is I genuinely believe all 3 of them can win it. Nothing would be mega surprising, right? Serral winning it all would not be surprising. Maybe to some Zergs it would be, because they think it's impossible that a Zerg can win, but I wouldn't go that far. Serral winning is not surprising, MaxPax winning is not surprising, and Hero winning is absolutely not surprising either. And that makes today a very fun day of high-level StarCraft. Serral's gonna switch things up once more. He has given us completely different looks throughout this best of 7. And here in Game 4, he's gonna hit us with some Swarm Host. Oh, Swarm Hosts are the ultimate hit or miss unit. And MaxPax, I don't think is quite thinking about it yet. If he was, I feel like he'd have a different setup. This could turn into one of these games where Serral can destroy the main, but MaxPax might just play on. There is a world where the main base will fall, but then MaxPax can just continue playing the top side of the map. Here is the first wave of Locust, and since MaxPax... Oh, losing the Forge in the Twilight would be really annoying. Like, losing a Nexus is bad, but you can actually deal with losing a Nexus. But losing the Forge in the Twilight be bad. Rico has gone down. Can the Stalkers save the Nexus? No, they cannot. It actually means that the Locust will get a lot of hits off on the Nexus too. I'm gonna say something very crazy here, but I almost feel that killing the Forge in the Twilight would have been a better play than killing that Nexus. Now, getting a Nexus early on is nice, and it is supply blocking Max. But he didn't lose the probes. He still has 2 bases fully up and running. He's trying to get his hands on the center base. But it's definitely going to slow MaxPax down. A little Storm lands on a couple of the Zerglings. I don't know how high the High Templar count is. I'm obviously not in the game. Can't click on stuff. I assume we got like 4 or 5. I see 3 with the main army. I don't know if he has some High Templars anywhere else. Locusts are forced to land a lot early this time. MaxPax does have a High Templar here to storm the Locusts. That's very smart. So the first wave of the Locusts was good. The second one, so-so. Serral is building spines, which is already giving us the idea that he doesn't really believe that this is going to be one of these games where it's going to be all about his aggression and he doesn't have to worry about any defense. That one void from the beginning of the game is useful here, but it goes deep. The queens are here, but the stalkers save the void ray. The void is very useful. A, to keep an eye on the swarm host, and B, to get a couple of free shots off. One High Templar will die here, but an entire wave of Locust only gets a single High Templar. I think that MaxPax is totally fine with that. I think Serral was really hoping for a bit more. Something died there? War Prism, Oracle, whatever it was. Man, that void is so low. That void is literally on 1 HP. The patch did not buff Swarm Host. The Swarm Host is probably just a decision here because it's El Dorado and it's a unique map. MaxPax is playing the top side of the map, Serral's playing the bottom side of the map, so strategically I see why Serral believes in the Swarm Host, but I don't think so far it's really gotten done what he was hoping for. It's not been a disaster. We need to be careful here, MaxPax. The High Templars do get jumped upon. A couple of decent storms, lost all of them. Needs to warp in new High Templars immediately and probably use energy recharge on one of them. Swarm Hosts are armored, yeah, so Void Ray with Prismatic deals a lot of damage. That spine positioning is goaded by Serral behind the mineral line. That means that MaxPax cannot just A-move Zealots in that base and not look at them. Because if he does that, then the Zealots will derp one by one and attack the spine with like 1 or 2 Zealots at a time. So very good spine crawler positioning. MaxPax is using some really good storms though in the center of the map. An observer here would be useful, so MaxPax can actually push the creep back a little bit. I don't hate it for MaxPax. 11 minutes in, I think he has survived what could have been a very scary mid-game. I don't want to say that I think he's winning, but I don't hate it for Max. Lurker count is going to get high, but MaxPax has never mined out the minerals in his natural as far as I know. Hello? Okay, he definitely stuck around a little bit too long there, distracted by those swarm hosts. The looks of it, MaxPax was microing a little more in his natural than he was in the center of the map. GG? For who, mate? I mean... nothing is GG here. That was good for Serral, that was excellent. But a little more needs to happen before we can start calling GG. That little more could be Serral taking full control of the main. This could be massive. Here are the droplets. Prismatic alignment though. That void ray is goaded. Oh my goodness, what a void. Wow. Someone built that void ray as statue. One Hydra made it out of the droplords, but obviously at this point MaxPax can keep the main base safe. And Serral already shaking his head a little bit. This was a big investment. And he did not get done what he was looking for. Honestly, that void deserves to retire at this point. The cannon was useful, absolutely. The cannon helped. The stalk is excellent, but especially that void ray that survived earlier with 1 HP, and I don't think he would have rebuilt a void ray. What a mega void. What a mega void. Serral does still have money, but he's only on 70 drones, so these attacks are becoming really, really pricey. Serral needs something big to go his way soon. Taking out the center base, taking out the top right, anything. Anything among those lines. And he is gonna get the center base. MaxPax wants to wait until he's got more Tempest. Does not want to run into all those lurkers. Can maybe try to take it one lurker at a time via the right side, exactly like this. And this is not really going Serral's way yet. Serral wanted more, Serral needs more. Love that observer there now, by the way, with the swarm host. That's very useful. So he can also start working on the creep. The Nexus will fall. That is a win. Ooh, careful with the High Templars. MaxPax cannot afford to lose all these High Templars. 13 Corruptors on the way. But these Corruptors are going to be 0-0. That's very important to keep an eye on. The Void Ray has done an amazing job, I think, in reducing the Swarm host numbers to... This Void is really laughing in the face of danger and keeps taunting with death. Keeps flirting with it. One low HP Lurker can be very annoying. A lot of probes are low in HP too. But none of this is really quite it yet for Serral. So at this point it's very important for Serral, I think, to just buy some time to get a couple of those big hive upgrades on the way. Adreno Glands is on the production tab. We are getting Infestors. We are getting Neural. Corruptor count is high, and even if they don't have great upgrades, if there is nothing protecting these Tempests, that is the wrong direction, MaxPax. That is not where you want to fly your Tempest. So an excellent dive here by Serral. Are there any cannons or batteries in the natural? No, there aren't. So the only thing that's really helping out these Tempests right now are the Stalkers that MaxPax just warped in. Fantastic Corruptor movement on the side of Serral. Of course, a bit of a mistake on the side of Max, especially clicking them towards that center base. That was not the play, and that was big for Serral. That was very, very big. Serral also has 2 Lurkers here to deal with all those Zealots. A few Hydras will fall, but the Lurkers help out. Just when it looked like Serral was perhaps in a tiny bit of a pickle, he finds a few really good moments for himself. Max is also not getting additional air upgrades, so he has +1 air weapons. That's nice. I don't know if this is a good play, by the way, by Serral. I don't think you're going to get the Nexus, and Stalkers are so useful. It is a good way to pull MaxPax out of position and perhaps get on top of this center base. Even use the Shroud. Oh, these Lurkers will never die. So in that way it turned out to be a good move for Serral. Like, he didn't lose the Corruptors, he stopped using Caustic Spray on it. And it allows him to take out the center base of Max. I think it will be a good mix with Tempest to add in a few more Voids. Void Rays are silly. I see why you're saying that, but I don't know if I really feel the same way. The Lurker run-bys have been excellent. Serral is playing ridiculously good at the moment, by the way. This is actually insane. The man is once more putting on a clinic and a bit of a masterclass of ZVP. Even in situations where a lot of Zergs would tell you that this is hell for the Zerg, where there is so little you can do. Serral continues to find damage, is continuing to find openings. It's mega impressive. It really is mega impressive as the Lurkers burrow on the other side of the gold minerals. They get a couple good shots off. Whew. Kind of feels to me that MaxPax is on wobbly legs, but he's definitely not out of it. And Serral is now starting to mine out the gold minerals of Max to give himself a ground attack path into the natural, perhaps into the main base later on. Max is close to stabilizing, but he's just a 4-base Protoss, and we're 18 minutes into Legacy of the Void. That means there isn't really a whole lot to mine anymore in your main. There isn't a whole lot to mine in your natural, and even the third base is starting to run a little bit dry. So MaxPax is definitely not rich. He's not as rich as he'd love to be. Can Serral get the mothership? Absolutely he can. A 6 Stormlands on the tail end of that fight. Archon's looking for the dream hits on the Corruptors, but the Lynx make that impossible. Tempest count is quite high. There are storms here, so Serral needs to be very, very cautious with the Corruptors. He's spreading them out. He gets a couple of the Tempests. He's not going to get all of them. Good defense by MaxPax, but Serral also did everything right. And where MaxPax is just hurting economically because he keeps on losing a base, he keeps on losing workers, he keeps on being forced to pull the probes away. Serral's economy has gone untouched now for quite some time. And that is starting to make the difference. Serral is playing ridiculously good. It is very impressive what Yona is showing us here. Don't know about this gold base, by the way, guys. That's I kind of feel like that's pushing it a little bit, but you know. Thank you, by the way, to Wilhelm as well for joining us with Prime. I appreciate it. These links shouldn't be able to get it done. Love the backup island there by Max. I think that's smart. MaxPax realizes that it really is time to get his hands on one more base. He's got 112 army supply. Still no +2 air weapons. No +3 air weapons. Well, you know, MaxPax already had +1 before Serral even had his first Corruptor out. Serral is now about to get +2. Okay, right when I talk about it, MaxPax is like, wait a minute. Got like no upgrades at all. So he is going to fire up a +2 air weapons. But now there are lurkers here natural. Lurkers about to enter the main. The Zerglings continue to be annoying in the center of the map. Oh, they're fungal by Serral. Gets every single Tempest. The Corruptor count is high, but it's not crazy high, so he's not going to get all of them immediately. Serral will temporarily disengage, but he has found that opening that he was looking for as he's now killing Stargates in the main. Going to on-power stuff. MaxPax also finally finding the courage to send a couple of units to the other side of the map, and this is so important for Max, because if Max is only going to defend and he's never hurting Serral economically, this cannot end well. He knows that. Now he gets fungal. I don't know if he can recall this army out maybe towards the Tempest, actually towards the mothership. One Immortal gets left behind. And that is indeed the recall that he used. What's happening on the bottom side of the map? Because I see some blue. There is a little bit of blue on the right side of Serral's gold. I don't know what that is. Are those stock? Oh, changelings. That's not MaxPax, guys. That's Jonah. There's a lot of Archons in the mix here, so you have to be mega cautious with the Corruptors. It looks like Serral is not too worried. Perhaps he should be, though, because there aren't crazy amounts of Lurkers on the ground. Serral is going to rebuild a lot of the units that he just lost. He did have a bit of a bank, but MaxPax survives with a decent amount of Archons. Did lose a couple of those expensive air units. Does not want to lose the Cybercore, that's for sure. Okay, he's not going to lose that. Not a single cannon. Well, one cannon. A single cannon. In that center base, MaxPax needs to pull the probes away. These Lings have +2 melee and adrenal glands. They are feisty. Serral's got a 70 army supply lead. A lot of it is spawning from the hatcheries right now, but it looks really good. Burrows being used. Serral is just everywhere. I don't even think MaxPax is playing bad. It's just that Serral's playing amazing. Serral legitimately is playing amazing. He is finding so much value with a little poke here and a bigger poke there, and he's taking good fights, and he's landing the fungals, and he's burrowing and unburrowing Lings, Lurkers. This is hell for the Protoss. Playing against this version of Serral is actually hell for the Protoss. It's super impressive. Absolutely phenomenal what Serral is showing us so far in this lower bracket final. Man is everywhere. He's even moving units right before MaxPax's army is there just to be that little bit of extra annoying. He's splitting these Lurkers up as well, so that's going to be more difficult to clean up. He's finding more probes, and MaxPax is truly hurting economically. Down to 42 probes right now, does not have a lot of gas. He's warped in a couple Zealots. Probably not what he's really dreaming of. A lot of extra probes are now dying in the center base. I mean, come on. Serral, stop! This man is the hope of all the aliens out there. What are you doing? As Lurkers are going to burrow, they're going to get a couple of devastating shots off. And after 23 minutes, MaxPax had enough of it. Serral with an insanely high level performance on El Dorado. I mean, obviously if there's one player on this planet that should not surprise us, it is Serral. The man has literally won everything. He's been here, he's done that, he's the undisputed GOAT. But I'm still impressed. That's such high level ZVP coming out of this man. So freaking good. And if this was a best of 5, he'd be there. But unlike the previous 2 series that these 2 guys had against each other in the last 10 days, this is a best of 7. Serral's gonna need one more. And if he gets one more map win, we'll have a repeat of the grand finals of last year, Masters Coliseum. I mean, if he's playing like this, you do wonder what on earth do you do? Wadi is currently attending a Pokemon event, Vagabanka. Wadi shared a story with me. So Wadi is obviously very big into the Pokemon trading card game. I think a lot of you guys know that. He's a collector, but he also competes. And I think this weekend he's got a big offline event somewhere. Wadi DM'd me. We have a little group with Colaris. And Wadi said, I played someone at a Pokemon tournament today. And he was like, wait, do you cast StarCraft? Proceeded to tell me how he doesn't bother anymore. But he does watch one guy sometimes. He named himself after a Dutch city. Wadi said, Roddy. And the guy said, yeah. I watch him sometimes because it makes me feel good knowing someone can still play the same build for years and be relevant. That was the interaction that Wadi had with a random Pokemon fan. What a hater. Shout out to that guy. That's right. 10 more years of Phoenix coming up, baby. Alright guys, Amygdala, round 5 between these two gamers. For the third time in 10 days. We had to wait 14 months for a MaxPax versus Serral series. Now we got 3 of them in 10 days. The first 2 went in favor of Max, but this is the biggest one. This is the one that matters the most. This is where the prize money is the highest. And it's starting to look like it's gonna go Serral's way, but we're not there yet. Top right side, he's up 3-1. It is BASILISK Serral. Bottom left side, it is the Prince of Denmark, PSISTORM Gaming's very own MaxPax. Oh. It's true. I love the Phoenix so much that I found them in Macabellum and I spammed them there as well. I ran free though, exactly. He's thinking of me, Furajin. Every time that guy loads into a match of Pokemon online or offline, he's like, man, I've been using the same deck for a while. But then again, Roddy has been building Phoenix for 14 years. So if he can do it, why can't I get lucky with this Pikachu or Charizard once more? Yeah, a Zerg will 99% of the time always take the natural unless they get blocked. There are only a few Zergs out there that are just set in their ways because they want to do like a very low drone count, Ling, Roach, Ravager all in. Then you take the forward base because your units spawn a bit quicker, right, towards the enemy side of the map. So your reinforcements arrive quicker. But I highly doubt that Serral is going to bring out the J-Money magic builds over here. So if Serral does not take the natural, he's getting blocked. Shout out to Anka for the 49 months. I appreciate it. Wadi is from the United Kingdom. That is correct. Pokemon is not just alive there, man. Pokemon is big everywhere. I have a few friends from the old days from when I lived in America. They're also into actually playing with the trading card game. And they have massive events in LA like every second week. They've got a whole circuit that goes around the world. Hello, Drogo. Good afternoon, mate. Who's J Money Magic? An absolute animal. Well, Pokemon is big, not just in the UK, in the Netherlands as well. Wadi actually competed in a Pokemon circuit event. They basically have a circuit, like we had a circuit in StarCraft, and hopefully we'll have another circuit. They also have like official circuits where you show up and you play and you collect points, and if you get enough points, you qualify for the World Finals. Wadi competed in Utrecht last year as well. I stopped by to say hi. I tried to watch, but I don't know what's happening, but just hang out, open a couple packs together, and then I went home. Yeah, he's pretty diehard. Yeah, actually, for some reason, Diablos is really funny you mentioned Pingwing, because I was thinking of him this morning. I didn't have a reason for it. I think I was thinking of Wadi, I was thinking of Pokemon, and because of that, I was thinking of Pingwing. I was like, yeah, one of the guys that used to stream a lot, used to cast a lot of events, and definitely did it for a long time, but he found something else that works for him. And he's doing good. He won an event. I think he won 3K or 5K or 10K playing Pokemon online, so... Shout out to Pingwing, the man who was also a member of My Insanity, just like Serral was many years ago. Oh my god, what a bridge. What a bridge. What do I think about Feyenoord versus Bayern on Wednesday? Well, we're obviously going to win. The only question is by how much. I'm not very impressed by Bayern Munich. Seems like a pretty mediocre team. I know Lambo supports him, so don't tell him I said this, but I'm expecting a pretty one-sided massacre. 4-0 for Feyenoord. They might score one. 4-1, 4-0, something among those lines. Seems like a pretty weak Bayern Munich these days. Who's this Musiala guy? Is he even any good? I doubt he plays Zerg as well as Serral does, so. That's some good copium. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Actually, on Thursday. I might go to the game. There's a small chance I'm going to the game. Anyway, enough about all of that. Let's take a little look at Amygdala, because there are 4 more gateways on the way. And Serral is applying. Excuse me, MaxPax is applying some pressure on the 4th base of Serral. These adepts may not have glaives, but, you know, 5-6 adepts. Eventually, the damage does start adding up. I'm gonna let the Shade finish up. What can Max get here? Not a lot, but he got 2 drones. Overall, it's pretty good defense by Serral. Keeps the hatchery alive, keeps the majority of his drones alive. Hydralisk then on the production tab for Serral. Serral does not shy away from some serious Hydraling aggression if he feels like it is right. Did we completely skip the Roach War in this game? No, we didn't. We do have a Roach War. Good morning, Mark. Max already getting a cannon. A little bit surprised that Max is the one getting a cannon, but probably saw something that scared him. This is not the biggest map in the map pool. It is a little bit hard to make it to the other side of the map because of all those minerals and rocks that are blocking the center. But if a Zerg does decide to be aggressive, and we got Roach speed, Zergling speed, Hydra speed, those units do show up rather quickly. For Hero right now, it's a perfectly fine time. This is not a bad time for the Koreans. MaxPax is getting a lot of shots off on this hatchery, and he's really thinking about going for it. He's being stubborn, he wants it, but Queens have been saving those Zergies. Use the Oracles then. YOLO those Oracles in. Come on, Max. Bills are beam, baby. We got a unit that flies. I know there's 3 Queens there, but they can't kill all the Oracles, or can they? What a save by Serral, but it's still a problem. Like, it's a save. It's a great save for now, but it's still a problem because this hatchery is so freaking low. Serral toying with him. I love these comments. It's like lower bracket final. We're watching 2 of the very best players on the planet going head to head in some nail-biting games, close games, and then one guy's like, man, he's toying with him. Yeah, seems reasonable. I think, honestly, I'm surprised that he's still behind his PC right now. Honestly, I expected Serral to have a little, like, 1-minute sauna power spike in the middle of this game. Because that's how easy it's going. The man is building a lot of Lings, Roaches, and Hydras of 70 drones. He's going to be very aggressive here. Serral is... Oh my god, the army is insane. He's got 130 army supply. You know, maybe he can take a break, guys. I have no idea how MaxPax is supposed to hold this. Serral is busting out some old school Roach Ling Hydra aggression. And Dark would be so proud. He's like, I told you guys that this is the way. I've shown you so many times. Storm is nowhere near done, and the previous 2 best of 5s may have gone MaxPax's way. The best of 7 that really matters deep into the Masters Coliseum is all Yona. Unfortunately for Max, once more it is not meant to be in a very big online event. The absolute king of the one-day events, and he's obviously won some bigger ones. But the ones that truly stand out, the Masters Coliseums, do not go MaxPax his way. He is microing Stalkers. But this is just never going to be enough. GG gets called. Serral will advance into the grand finals. And we've got a repeat of exactly 1 year ago. Masters Coliseum 7 came down to Serral versus Hero. Back then, everyone expected Serral to win. And Serral did win. And he looked untouchable in those games. And that's why a lot of people were very angry. Because Protoss is not strong enough. This best of 9 should be a little different. What a series by Yona. So strong. Especially the El Dorado game was mental. You guys still believed in Serral, just like you guys did in the first best of 5 and the second best of 5. Those didn't go his way. But he did win this one. And that means that Serral moves on. Wins at least $3,000. But Serral's not here to win $3,000. What is $3,000 to Serral? Serral wants to win it all. And once more crown himself the champ of the Masters Coliseum. Perhaps put himself in the number 1 in League Elect. I don't know if that would have any implications. No, best of 9, I think. I'm like 99% sure it's a best of 9, so believe me, there is no advantage for Hero. The only advantage for Hero is that Serral just had to play this series. But he's not starting 1-0. He doesn't get a... It's not a best of 5 into a best of 3. It should just be a straight up best of 9. 30-minute break. Do you know anything about a 30-minute break? Because I don't. I'd be surprised if it's a 30-minute break. Let me just wait with the prediction just in case. I'm kind of expecting a 15 to 20-minute break. Obviously, Serral does deserve some time to chill. But I don't think 30. And since only the first game was mega long, the other games, they were a bit shorter. I mean, Eldorado's was somewhat long. I don't think Serral would request a 30-minute break. Probably like 10-15 minutes, reasonable, right? Get yourself a snack, get yourself a drink, relax a little bit, give it some thought, and then you just go for it.